right, only 2 episodes left after this, so season's coming to a close soon. So shit better start really happening soon.
Yes, it better.
Because, yeah.
Last episode, stuff happened. Last episode was really
I'm not saying nothing's happened. I'm just saying, like, we need some big stuff
I agree.
happen, for sure.
I agree.
That's all.
Yeah.
What did you think of this episode?
I mean, I really like the show in general. I think this episode was slower than I wanted it to be. Again, I'm okay with like character growth episodes, and like I do want to spend time like get to know people and like be in the town or like, you know, in the community and everything. But I feel like we've done enough of that this season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree with you with like things need to kind of start happening. I think there needs to be an amping up, and this show's kind of notorious for like a lot of shows that are mystery thriller type shows where like at the end of the episode, like that's when things begin to happen.
Yeah.
So it was a bit frustrating with this one.
Frustrating? You want to know what's frustrating about this show? Is that nobody tells anybody anything.
I know, still.
We just, I mean, I don't get the reasoning because, like, a lot of times you have to look past certain things in shows, movies, whatever, in storytelling to, especially for television, right? For long form storytelling. In movies, they need to quicken the plot, right? To try to fit it into a shorter runtime. But with shows, they have the opposite problem where they have to draw things out. They have to really stretch them. And so, like, with this show, I don't really see the purpose as much of not telling people things. Because, like, they're doing that a lot of the times with show, like, with this kind of storytelling. They're doing that specifically, right, to stretch the story. And so they're not telling people certain things so that people don't find things out fast enough. So, you know, the next thing the guy's going to be like, oh, let's go here. And then, you know, they can't really do that. But with this, it's like, I don't see any real reason for them not to share information. It just, it feels more frustrating for no reason. Like, I can't even come up with well, they're just trying to stretch the show. It's like, it helps the show, in my opinion, to have the characters be more open with one another, to share information, to pool their resources, to make sure we're always working towards this goal of getting out. I mean, everybody, except for Victor, I guess, wants to get the hell out of here. And so for them, every episode, I mean, we harp on this all the time. And yet again, we're doing this again, where Donna has to walk in on them in the midst of doing something. And she calls them out on that, which I like.
I do too.
You know, she's like, no, it's not the same thing. I caught you. This is why you're telling me. You weren't going to tell me. And it's true, they weren't. Yeah. But then even after Donna comes in, oh God, I want to grab, it's the hypocrisy, right? It's the, like, I'm so important, right? I'm Donna.
But nobody else needs to know.
Like, why didn't you tell me? Like, I'm not, you know, anybody. I'm Donna, right? And it's like, every single person there has just as much of a right to know as Donna, as anybody, right? Nobody's more important than anybody else, outside of maybe like Sarah, because she killed people, so her value might be, or not, is lessened now. But regardless, it's becoming like an eye roll thing in this show, and I don't want things in the shows that I watch to become like an eye roll thing.
And the other thing too with that, like the secret keeping, I think that it doesn't make sense that they would keep secrets as well, because it's only very recently that they've introduced the element of like distrust and paranoia. You know, so like I think if that was more of a thing where everybody was like, I don't trust you, I don't know who's doing what, then I would understand why they weren't as open about things. But the community's been pretty like, should they have like a little bit of like friction here and there with personalities, but overall everyone's like, we're in this together, we're trying to get out.
Okay.
And
question.
yeah.
What reason would they have to not tell anyone that they killed one of these things and have collected its bile?
No
and maybe
reason.
like what reason? Because a lot of the times they use the excuse of Donna's like, well, you can't do that because it's going to give people hope and this is going to break them apart and they're not going to be able to handle it because, you know, one more loss and it's going to be like suicide or people are going to do. Saying like this is hope.
This
right?
is definitely
they
hope.
Killed one of these things. It's a big deal. No one's ever done it before
Yeah.
in the history that we're aware of, right? Like maybe
100%.
someone did it before that we're unaware of, before Victor's time or whatever. It doesn't matter. But what is the what reasoning can you come up with that Donna and Boyd and Kenny and everyone has decided we shouldn't tell everyone? I can't come up with anything.
No, I can't either. I genuinely can't. I think like it wouldn't scare them. It would give them hope, as we've been saying.
Yes.
I don't think anybody would be like, oh, let's just like run out there and like stab them because they have a very specific way that they killed them.
Well, they're gonna.
Too, so it's not like it would make people do something foolish.
What it's gonna lead to is conversation and
Yeah.
information sharing, right? How did you kill it? Well, I went out into the woods with Sarah and I got trapped in this basement with this guy who put his blood in me that
Right.
gave me these worms under my skin. I cut myself open. I killed this thing. We brought it in. We cut it open. Like, this is a lot.
It is
This is
a
a
lot.
lot. And the fact that you're not sharing this with anybody, you know, is as important as Donna thinks she is. Like,
Yeah.
if we're just thinking about main characters, right? Like, there's secondary characters that I guess don't matter to the show,
Mm-hmm.
but in reality, they're people, or well, in their
the
in
fictional
their reality, they're people, right? And they
Yeah.
definitely matter. But even if we're just talking about the characters that we know, that we follow, that are the main characters of the story, you still got Ellis, and you know, he was there for that, so he got to see it. But there's other major characters or bigger characters that are not being aren't being involved in this.
Absolutely.
And it's like, why? Because once you get talking about this stuff, everybody should always be reporting. They should be
Yes.
having like a town hall meeting, like every week or every day, and be
Yeah.
like,
anything new?
anything new? Did anyone find anything?
Yes,
Is there like
100%.
let's all send out search teams like in every direction. We're all gonna start in center of town. We're all gonna just start walking this way. Report back.
Yeah.
Right, every day.
Instead,
It just doesn't seem like everyone's working towards the
No.
obvious goal. It seems like a few people in this
Yeah.
show are trying to put things together, and everyone else is just sitting up in Colony House or sitting down in the town and just being like, well, I'll just wait for nightfall, I guess.
I know, like they just are hunkered down. Like this is my new life. I just have to like
There's
tend
no
the
way.
homestead.
There's no
I know.
way.
I agree. I think that it should have. It's weird that that's not what's going on. And maybe, I mean, if this is an experiment of some kind, you know, maybe that's part of it. But I just think it's super weird.
Yeah. And
So,
frustrating.
Very frustrating.
Frustrating because it just doesn't feel realistic to me.
Yeah.
Like, even though the show is fantasy and you know, of course it's not realistic, the actions of people always have to remain realistic, no matter how fantastical the premise or plot or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So, the lack of respect they have for one another to divulge information, it's not only like disrespectful to other people and like, you know, preventing them from potentially getting out of there,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it just holds you back yourself. If you want to just be, you know, selfish about things, you're preventing yourself from potentially leaving because you're leaving out all the information to leave, right? Like, you've got to pool your knowledge and so that you can have a better understanding of what's going on so that you can get out of there.
Yeah.
It's better for everybody, including yourself. So I just don't see any reason why Boyd shouldn't come back to town, because, you know, this show has a different feel to it than it did last season. I just thought about that right now.
Mm.
I felt like at the beginning of the show, when, you know, our main family that comes into town, there was more of a sense of community. between like Colony House and down in what's the other place called? It's Colony House and what do they call that? Town.
I thought that was just,
I mean, I know when they have to like pick where to live, which that whole like ceremony of like picking where you live, that's like gone.
Yeah, they haven't.
Right? The bus people came and like you're just at
They
Colony House now.
like didn't show it or what, I don't know.
And they're like, you don't ever get to change houses and all that stuff once you pick a place.
It might also be that they're like, is a bit of an adjustment period because they didn't do it right away for the family. Like,
I get that, but like, do you not? Back then, it felt more like a joint community.
Yes.
Where they were all very much in line with one another, and then it was like these two different factions of like, you either live over there, you live over here. We try to work together, but there's two separate entities in this place, and when they were describing things, you had Donna and you had everybody like there, and they all came together and they were all laying down the rules and they were all discussing things out in the open, right?
It's true.
Everybody was out in this like field together.
Yeah,
and
now
they were like, this is how it works and this is what's going on here. And now everyone's just like two people here.
I know. I
wonder if this is
very mixed.
I wonder if this when was this show originally filmed? Because I wonder if like COVID restrictions, they don't want like a bunch of people gathered around each other when they were filming this. So they're like making it more like a couple people in one scene versus like 30 people all standing next to each other. I know that's probably the case. I'm just saying I don't get any why has that changed so much?
Yeah, I mean there's I guess more upheaval going on, which is like mirrored in the communities, but I agree. I think that it felt more cohesive with like Colony House and the town in the first season than it does now. Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so getting into the episode, the forest for the trees. So this episode starts with Kenny having this dream. He's now the fourth person who has, unless I'm miscounting, but I think this is accurate, the fourth person to see the music box. And then he sees the bugs, the cicadas in the pot when he talks to his mom, and he answers the phone that's ringing. And there's some kind of music playing on it.
We couldn't make out what it was saying.
I was like trying to turn the volume up, but I really couldn't hear it all that well. I don't know if the lyrics have any kind of meaning to them, or if that song has some kind of relevance, like we've heard it before in the show or something that I just don't remember, or if that song will play again later. That's probably what I'm going to assume, is that like Kenny's going to be at the diner where the music plays, right? So there's music that comes on in the diner because it's like a 50s diner with the jukeboxes and whatever at the tables. I could see something going on there.
Me too.
Right, something happens. His mom works there, right? He goes there, like somebody, like maybe his mom gets killed or something, and that song's playing, and he like recognizes it, you know, and she's like cooking over that pot that he finds the bugs in. Yeah. Right? Because obviously she's in a kitchen, music plays at that joint. Right. You know, I could see that song playing because it seemed to be foreshadowing, right? Like,
it did.
He saw those bugs, and then the bugs pop up. They burn a body. He burns his arm. I don't know if those are things are connected or not. But like burning and bugs, those both came to fruition. Now, mom cooking in the kitchen and that song haven't yet. So I could see her cooking in the kitchen at the diner. That song comes on, and then freaking someone like gets hurt or mom gets killed or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that that's possible, especially because it seems like we're having dreams be
or hey, maybe those bugs come and kill his mom in the diners in there, because we go at the end of this episode. The bugs
we're assuming that the bugs are attacking or turning into something. I don't know. I also thought that maybe they were like gonna turn into some creature, but
that's a good thought.
It would also be weird if the bugs, but if they like can transform you, like if you get bit. Is that what you're thinking? Vampires kind of thing?
Not bit, but like they crawl inside of you. Right, because Boyd had worms in his body. Right. And then like these bugs, these flying, they're cicadas, right? They go into like they crawl into your mouth or something,
Yeah.
and they like go down into you and then like take you over, and that's what creates
the monsters. And that's why
monsters.
they're like, they have human anatomy, but they aren't human.
Well, Kenny's gonna be like, I told you to fucking burn the bodies.
Oh my god,
you
I know, 100%.
Now these bugs, now they got something to worry about because
Yes.
the bugs. I mean, if the bugs can get you and turn you,
Right.
or even, I mean, the guy runs out and he's covered in blood.
Yes.
So I'm assuming, was that?
That was the couple
the
that was
couple.
in Sarah's old
That's
house.
what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's probably dead, right?
Yeah, or dying.
Yeah, when he hears the bugs,
Yeah.
and everyone hears the bugs, not just Kenny. He hears them, they hear them, or do they just hear the screaming?
It's weird because the way it's shot they do hear something.
He hears
They
the
react
bugs,
to something.
for
Kenny
sure.
and Boyd for sure hear the cicadas, the buzzing of the bugs. But the others, I don't know. I don't know if they hear that because they look over and are kind of reacting like they're hearing something, so it could just be the screaming and like noises going on in there.
How did the bugs get out of that locked room?
Well, that's why I'm inclined to think that it is. I don't know how they got out of there, but I was going to say I'm inclined to think that it was that Kenny and Boyd are the only ones that can see the bugs, right? Because they're the only ones that go down there and look at them. And then when Boyd comes back with Donna, they're gone.
Maybe the only people who can see the bugs are the people who can see the
Music
music
box?
box.
Maybe. Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. What? So, is it that, like, she? Because I could see it going that Kenny and Boyd hear the bugs. Donna and Christy? Is that who's with them?
It's
Oh no, Donna's not with them at that
Donna's
point.
not with.
She's off with Randall, and we'll get there.
Yeah, she's off with Randall. It's oh my god, I always forget their name. It's the family, the daughter. I always forget her name. She's there.
Like Jace?
Her and
Like our Jim's daughter?
yeah.
Oh, Julie?
Yeah, sorry, Julie. I always forget her name. Julie's there.
Okay. So, okay, if that's the case, I'm be curious on, like, you know, he runs out. Okay, so he runs out. He's got blood on him. Help. They don't react fast enough, in my opinion. They just kind of sit there and
They're
like, ooh.
What?
But whatever. So, maybe, you know, who Julie and them will be like, what bug? They didn't hear anything. And then they're going to go in there, and he's going to have found her body, right? Covered in blood. He comes out. He's you know. And then they're going to blame Sarah, right? Because this is Sarah's old house,
Yeah.
right? And she's the killer on the loose,
Right.
right? And here she winds up dead when she was like caught in their house,
Yeah.
snooping around. She's freely like able to leave and walk around town, right? She's bored, so she's doing a bunch of knitting. They could even find like, you know, one of the freaking jackets there or something that she left her to
Sure,
sew, some
yeah.
kind of evidence that she was there or some shit. But like, I could definitely see that. But I prefer that the bugs attacked, and he like runs out, and we find out she's been killed by the bugs. They don't know, and then they hatch like inside her stomach or whatever, and they take her over and turn her
Yes.
into one of those monsters. And we get to see how they are created.
Yeah.
It like feeds off of their organs, and that's what like sucks them dry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the hell they got out of that room. So you're right. I mean, it could be just that they're only being able to be seen by Boyd and Kenny, or people who have visions, like
Yeah.
Elgin and whatever, Tabitha. Like those are like the vision people. But it seems like
And
it feels
Jade.
like but it feels like every episode or every 2 episodes this season specifically, another person is having visions.
Yeah, I think that's increasing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, and we got a bunch of fog.
I was just gonna say
Yeah.
the other thing that's kind of news that it was really foggy, which I don't remember it ever being in the show. So we were wondering if it's like maybe, you know, if it is dark enough outside, if the monsters would be able to come out during the day, like if there was an eclipse,
Yeah.
you had said, or if the fog just got thick enough.
Yeah, the sun's covered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember because when it was having that like rainstorm, they didn't come out then, did they? Like that was last season. There was the big storm.
Yeah.
I don't think they did, but I don't remember. So if they did, you should let us know.
Was that during the day? The whole time it was.
I thought it was like during the day. Yeah, I thought it was during the day. So yeah. I don't know, but
you're talking over a year ago.
Right.
We've watched so much shit since then. It's hard to remember every single detail.
But the environment's definitely changing. You know, the leaves are falling off the trees. It's getting colder. It's foggy out. So.
It's gonna snow eventually.
It is gonna snow eventually.
Then they're really
most
screwed.
likely. Yeah.
No real talk about food shortage this episode.
Yeah.
So we're not focusing on that quite right at the moment. And with Donna being kidnapped by Randall, I don't see the food problem. Like, you're gonna have to resolve that whole thing within the next episode, and then you only have one episode left after that. So I don't know if the food shortage thing is going to play a relevant role this season again. Like, they mentioned it, and it was starting to become a thing, but with everything that we're now focusing on, with the cicadas attacking somebody, with the bile bullets eventually coming into play, and them trying that out, to Donna's kidnapping and Jim and him out there, because obviously, he wants to tie her to the tree to see if she'll be attacked, right? Like, he wants to prove to Jim that that Donna's in on it. Like, he's completely went off the deep end. Randall is like complete conspiratorial, like, brained now.
Yeah.
He pulled Jim into it a little bit. Jim kind of had a moment of clarity where Donna talked to him and was just like, "Why are you talking to Sarah?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, that was stupid." Like, he was on the edge. And Randall kind of pushed him over it, right? But now he's like trying to climb his way back up, and Randall's just going further and further down.
Yeah, he sees them burning the body and everything, so he's
because they're hiding things from people.
They're hiding, and so of course he thinks that something's going on, and
this is the danger of that.
Yeah. I also wanted to say, too, that I don't think the food shortage thing is necessarily going to come up again, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like, it would be cool if this season ends with snow falling. Yeah. Right? So that it's, like, set up that they're already in this food shortage, and then the next season we're starting off, and it's like, whoa, tons of stress.
Yeah, I mean, we might not see snow, but that makes the most sense to me. Yeah. You get people cold. And you get people hungry, and they're really gonna start turning on each other, and it's gonna turn into freaking
Yellow Jackets.
Yeah,
they're gonna start eating each other.
I was gonna say cabin fever, but I mean that's a pretty similar thing. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he's got her tied up. Night is just about to fall.
Yes, right. It's right there on twilight.
Now, Jim doesn't have a weapon. I have noticed that Randall carries a pocket knife in his pants. You can see it sticking right out the top. So he'll definitely have that knife. He's ready to go. Sorry for the interruption. So, So Randall is... He's not gonna let this go easily, right? No. Like, Jim's not gonna be able to just go untie her. Right, he's gonna be like, "No, dude, like, she's in on this. I need to prove to you, like, we're gonna watch her. We're gonna sit in here. We're gonna look right at her, and if she's in on this, they're not gonna touch her." Right?
I think that's very poor reasoning, because if this was like something that was so important that nobody found out that there were like plants involved, like people on the inside, I feel like the ones on the outside that are controlling things would totally let somebody die to maintain, like, the illusion,
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
I mean, maybe not. It just, to me, feels like that, that they could sacrifice her anyway, like, if she was in on it. Which we were both initially, like, what's the word? We were suspicious of her, like, right when Randall kind of introduced that idea, of course. We were both suspicious of Donna when, like, Randall introduced the idea that there might be people involved, but I still have doubts, too, that she is involved in that way.
We keep getting interrupted, so it is what it is. But we can wrap this up for the most part. Yeah, Donna being in on this or whatever. I mean, I don't know. We've talked about this enough when I keep saying even though Randall's an asshole and he is going conspiratorial, like, he represents all of us. He's the guy that's really kind of saying what we would be thinking in those situations of, like, oh yeah, it's really convenient that you walk in right now.
Yeah.
Right, and
that
stop
you've never seen anybody get killed and all that. Yeah.
I mean, he's asking
valid questions.
Yes.
Very valid.
He goes about things wrong.
Yes.
Because he is unhinged.
Yes.
I don't know who wouldn't be unhinged in this situation.
Well, he's also just a hot temper
yes.
in general, you can tell.
He's a hothead for sure.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this is going to be a fight between them two on whether or not to free her. Jim, of course, is going to be all for freeing her. He's going to try to fight him to get her off of there. Night's going to fall.
Yeah.
They're going to start coming. Donna's going to be screaming, like, get me the fuck off of here right now. I can't imagine Jim going into the RV and just watching, because then he's done. Like, unless Donna dies, but then even then, Donna's not dying. But like,
yeah, she's gonna be like, no way, like you were just gonna leave me there.
Yeah, for sure. So that would create this massive rift between people, right?
I mean, Jim is like going about it in a very like he's trying to be the scientist. He's trying to like really see like how things are working. So I honestly could see him like waiting it out. I think initially he's gonna be like, no way, like we can't do this, but I could totally see like Randall kind of convincing him that this is like step one in trying to get to the bottom of things.
That will be the end of the relationship between Jim and Donna.
Yes,
obviously.
It will.
But if they do leave her out there, she will die.
Oh, 100%.
But if she doesn't,
I don't know.
then we have some serious questions.
Yeah, if she doesn't die, why?
Yeah, that would definitely be a problem. Why they want to go out to the RV, because I had told Kaylee while we were watching this, like, doesn't make any sense to me. Like, oh, we're going to go off out of here. Like, they'd be able to see you. If this is a contained area, this is an experiment potentially, right? They think so.
Yeah.
So, like, anywhere you go, they're going to know where you're at.
Yeah.
They're going to have cameras. They're going to have, surveillance of some sort. They're going to be able to find you, to see you, to know what you're looking at. It's not like you can go hide somewhere and they're going to be like, where'd they go? I don't know. Like, that's just silly to me. So I find that the best place would be Randall's bus. It's got windows everywhere. They can see right out. You're going to see whatever you're going to see anyway.
Yeah.
And, but now we got Donna. Now, the reason that they go to the RV as far as the writing goes is because Donna's going to be out there. And if she was in town, they'd all know.
Yeah.
Right? So it had to be out at the RV. I just don't see a real reason. The only reason that it was the RV is because the writers needed to get them away from town so that no one would see Donna tied up.
Right.
Because if she was sitting right outside in the middle of town, obviously everyone would be like, what the hell's going on? Right. But like, as far as in-universe reasoning for why they need to go to the RV, their reasoning is that, like, they're not going to know what they're up to. Bro, they knew your wife was digging in the basement.
Yeah, exactly.
They can see everything.
Yeah.
So you going to the RV is not going to be like a blind spot in their surveillance. That's just ridiculous to me. If you want to watch out, as I said, you don't have to pull the blinds. That's not a thing, because Randall sleeps in a bus. There are no blinds. He looks out everywhere. And why didn't he see? It doesn't matter. But whatever. But like, he gets to see the town every night.
Yeah.
So like, watch from there. But to be fair, unless they do like sacrifice somebody, they're not going to see anything unless something happens right in front of them. Like if someone comes out of the house for some reason, they're not going to see anything happen.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what they would see unless they do tie somebody up.
Right, they're just gonna see him walking around smiling and then like coming over and like
which
looking
he's
at
already seen.
He's already seen that.
So I don't really know what Jim's plan was. That's what I don't get.
See, if Tabitha and Jim were working together with like the tunnels and everything, because that's like where they are. Right. That's where they come out of.
Right.
That would be where you'd want to like stake out.
Sure, to see them come out of there. Yeah. But like, what is Jim's plan? He tells his daughter, like, hey, I'm going to try to figure this out. You know, I'm going to be all right, whatever. They're going to the RV. What's the plan in the RV? I don't get that.
The plan is just
they're just going to, like, look out in the woods?
Yeah.
Well, then fucking find out what they already spent the night there.
Yeah.
What good did that do?
I don't know. I don't know why.
They're gonna look through the broken windshield, through the because when you're in the RV, there's very low visibility in that thing.
Exactly.
You can only see out through the windshield, which is like broken.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's like your line of sight. Everything else is enclosed. So I know. What was the plan in the RV?
The bus, as you said, makes much more sense.
The bus is way more.
But they want to be in the woods. They want to be like away from everybody else.
For what? What are they gonna see out there? Them like jerking off out there? Like what? I don't get it. Like what's the point? They're gonna see like.
I think that they're gonna see like.
If they moved it, if they took something, if they took that van that he has, that Randall's driving around, right? Like he has that van. They go stake it out somewhere. Take it with them. They're gonna plop it in front of the cave, like you said, or they're gonna whatever. They gotta move their vantage point to somewhere where it's going to matter what they see. I don't see what the plan is outside of just a plot reason to get them to look over Donna, like, which Jim didn't know about. So as I said, like, I get what his plan is, but I don't get what Jim's plan is.
Sure. No, I mean, I agree with you. I think that, like, ultimately he's just trying to observe more, and I think that could, as you've been saying,
broken window.
As you've been saying, there's a lot of other ways that could have been accomplished that make much more sense. I mean, if you like have the van, you could also put that in the sigil in the van and then drive around with it and be safe.
And that's just it. Right. So like what you could have done instead, just to get Donna away from town or whatever, is like, hey, I'm going to pick you up in the van. We're going to sleep in the van. We're going to drive it somewhere. We're going to look at the cave. We're going to station ourselves somewhere, whatever. Then Jim jumps in the van. They start to drive. It becomes night. He starts hearing a noise.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the hell's that? And the sun's starting to go down, and he's like, all right, we got to park it here. And then he's like, what the fuck is that? And then they go, and he opens up the trunk, and Donna's back there in the trunk, tied up. And he's like, help me. I got to get her outside. Boom, credits. There you go.
Sure, yeah,
right?
That would have been great.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You're still away from town. No one's going to see Donna. He still doesn't know what's happening until nights fall. I'm telling you, man, I need to be in writers' rooms. Just for like 2 seconds, just be like, this doesn't make any sense. The RV thing doesn't make any sense. Just put her in the it's simple. And you get all the same results, but it makes way more sense.
Mm-hmm. The only other thing I could think of for the RV is maybe it's like they won't suspect that we would go there because it's like in shitty condition.
Watching us.
But again, like we've been saying, if they're watching you and if they could see anything, they would know. If they can only see in certain areas, like in the like underneath the ground, right? Like if there's like some trigger where it's like they know she's digging, then that's different. But if they can see them, then you have to assume that they can see pretty much all of what's going on.
I'm gonna tell you this right now. If Boyd was to share his information with people, Jim would find out that he was teleported somewhere, maybe even back in time for all we know.
Yeah.
And then was teleported somewhere else, had bugs under his skin that has been able to kill one of these things, bring him to the body, all this stuff. He would be like, my theory is now dog shit.
Sure.
This is not like a human experiment of anything, right?
He would
like
be
we're done with
or
this.
Even if he still thought it was an experiment, it would change things because then there's like a bio weapon or something involved that now it's like they have to be aware of, whatever. But they need to be talking. Jade, like all of them.
Yeah.
All of them need to talk.
All right, so let's wrap this up. We got Mary's going through her detox. She leads them down to the basement where they see the bugs. They've now disappeared. We find out Victor had a sister. His sister
was pretty big.
So he has pictures to remember things, right? So he locks these pictures away, and then when he goes, we find out that he's forgotten his sister because he didn't have his memories of her.
Yeah.
And so now he has his memories of her. $10, she's not dead.
Yeah, I feel like she's not dead.
She's gonna show up.
Yeah.
She's gonna be like, I'm whatever, Eloise? Wasn't that her name?
I think her name, yeah, it was Eloise.
So, yeah. We're going to find out Eloise, somebody's going to say something, Eloise is going to be somehow alive in one capacity. She might be working for that guy who had the freaking bugs under his skin or whatever. But
maybe.
Like, Eloise is going to show up, or he's going to find her body. Or something. We're going to see her again, alive or dead.
Well,
something.
Yeah, there's more connection too in that because his mom was running off to save the children in the tower.
Yeah, the
Boyd's
and obviously,
lighthouse. Yeah, Tabitha is seeing children, so just kind of more
right.
breadcrumbs there.
Right.
But I agree. I think Eloise, I think she's going to be alive. I think we're going to see her again.
So there's that lighthouse that Boyd sees with Sarah. The kids that Tabitha is seeing, their bodies are like dead and trapped in there. And like, I really hope this isn't one of those things where like, they have to put the bodies to rest in order to get out of this. Like that like trope to me of it's like bury the bodies.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about this before, but like they've literally done this in movies now that we've watched where they'll dig up bodies to then go bury them.
I know.
And I'm like, they were already laid to rest.
Like
they were already buried.
They were fine.
Like you didn't tell anybody.
They're not in the right place.
Oh my god, that stuff is so annoying to me.
Yeah.
I really hope that's not the place that we're going with this show. Like you got to lay their bodies to rest and put them at peace. They're the ones, because like some guy killed them, right? Put them up in a tower, abuse them or whatever, and then their spirits are like, what is locking everyone in this tainted area?
I don't know. I will be very shocked if that's the like what's going on, because that's really lame if that is the case.
You never know.
But you never know. I guess that's true.
You never know. I definitely, I called that we were gonna see young Victor flashbacks.
Yeah.
So we got that, but we have not seen that guy yet.
No, not yet.
That's in the pictures. That's really it.
Yeah, I think that's all the main stuff.
Yeah, that's all worth talking about.
Yep.
So that's that. Sorry for the 87 interruptions and all the background noise. I'm sure is going to be awful.
Yeah.
But we wanted to record this when it was a little more fresh.
Yes, we did.
Watched it
just
like an
watched
hour
it,
ago,
instead of
as opposed to like 10
hours like we do normally.
So there you go. What do you guys think? Which one of these theories that we discussed do you subscribe to? Or disagree with, or do you have any other ones? And speaking of subscribing, all right, guys.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Bye.